Alright everyone, we are back for round 3 of Friday Night Magic from Lost Legion Games and Comics in South Charleston, West Virginia. My name is Zachary Evans. I'm joined by Michael Taylor, and we are covering this standard tournament. As I said, round 3, we have two 2-0 players for you. And for those of you who have watched in the past, we promised you a player in a deck this week, and we are going to live up to that promise. On your left, Brett Rose, last week's champion, perennial top 8er, local shop celebrity. And all you need to know about what he's playing is look at the life counter. Cliff's life is not starting at 20, it's starting at 0, indicating that Brett is playing his trademark Infect deck. Brett has had a love affair with Infect for the last year. We've been going over different standard decks from the last year. We've talked about a lot of things, but that entire time Brett has just been playing different kinds of Infect, so it should be fun. The swan song of Infect cards as they start to leave the formation. As we see, what is that? That is papered as Scissors, right? Scissors Lizard. Taking the lead in the lifetime rock, paper, scissors tally. Brett's opponent on the right is Cliff Marcum. He's played here before. He's played on camera before. He's playing Heartless Summoning, which he has played. He has a lot of different decks, but this is the same one he's played in previous iterations. So this should be pretty interesting. If the game goes past turn 5, Cliff will likely win. And if Brett wins, we'll be talking about standard cards again in about the standard decks again in about 20 minutes or 15 minutes. So Brett has played various iterations of Infect. It started originally as mono green, back when Zendikar cards were legal. You could play cards like Vines of Vastwood, Giant Growth, and Groundswell. But as they rotated out, he started adopting a splash of red for, as we see Cliff flash a Ponder. That's probably a strategic move.
Yeah. He
wants to show Brett, be afraid of this. I will cantrip. I will dirtle around while you... Oh, I cannot believe I just said dirtle on this web stream. I've broken so many of my own rules by using the word dirtle, but so the red card he splashes is Assault Strobe, which is pretty interesting, which basically allows for a turn 2 kill.
Yeah.
He also experimented for a period of time with a blue-black Infect control list that used Phyrexian Crusaders as a way of winning. And he had a lot of success with that deck. It was basically just a blue-black control deck, but at the time, Crusaders are very difficult to remove in that format because they're pro-Boros. So, but tonight, like I said, for the Swan Song, he's decided to go back to the OG of Infect decks and run Assault Strobes and green pump spells. So
we're looking for
mutagenic. Here's the thing: no one is playing removal in standard. No one's playing control really, and none of the other decks are playing removal. And
nobody's prepared for Infect.
As such, Brett just eats them alive. He's also playing Apostle's Blessing and Ranger's Guile. All right, we're halfway there. Turn 1 Glistener Elf, the best start out of Brett's deck. And now Brett's free reign. Just see how crazy he wants to get. All right, I'm very excited. He gets in for 1.
Is he stalling on land, or is he just slow rolling it?
He's clear. Okay, so I'm going to remove this title showing the life total. Just watch at the bottom of your screen, because I don't want to. I'm not set up for Infect, and I'm going to try it again. So Brett lands 2 Glistener Elves. It's just a beatdown. There's no combo involved at all. He's just going to smash in there with a million dudes. That's a Plague Mirror. That Pristine Talisman is useless. I mean, it does ramp his mana. He can't cast his 6 drops next turn, but he may not be alive for that. Wild Defiance. I forgot that he was playing Wild Defiance. That's one of the biggest additions to the deck with the advent of the... is that an Avacyn Restored card?
I think so, and that's kind of what brought the deck back into style.
Yeah. What it does now is means that any damage-based remove... Ooh, that's a very good play out of Cliff. I don't know how many of those he's playing in the deck, but that's literally the best thing he could cast, which is a Massacre Worm. Brett takes...
Probably just ended the game.
Well, he has... has a lot of business, and at this point with Cliff at 5,
He only
he
does
can't
need.
ever attack. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he needs 5 more counters if he can get that through.
Brett just needs one pump spell to win.
Yeah.
So if he just draws, it's very important that Solemn is a artifact creature because, like I said, he is playing Apostle's Blessing, or I think he is. At one iteration of the deck, he was playing it. So he just pro his guy, pump him, and get in there. He also is playing Ink Moth Nexus. Cliff's only playing a couple flyers. I think a couple of targeted. The black removal out of Cliff is going to be a lot better because it's not damage based. That Massacre Worm. If it was literally any other 6-drop, I think Brett would have been fine, but... And he's had a relatively creature-heavy draw. If he had any more, 2 pump spells in this game would have been over, so... But he will be on the play next game, assuming he doesn't pull out the miracle here and turn this around, so... he can't beat that card, I'll tell you that right now, and Brett knows it.
Yeah.
Now he does have Naturalize in the sideboard. He will be prepared to beat that card coming up, but
do you think
he's
he'll bring
just
it
stone dead, huh?
Do you think he'll bring in Naturalize? It seems like if the game gets to that point,
those 4 cards he just set aside are probably Naturalize effects. There's no other card that deck fears more than Curse of Deathhold. He literally cannot beat it. I think he has one Viridian Corruptor, and that is the only creature I think that has 2 toughness. So I can't see exactly what he's taking out, but he is being an excellent host and adjusting the life totals back for us, so appreciate that. While they're doing that, Michael, you want to give away some Magic cards?
Yeah, let's give away some Magic
People
cards.
might be asking themselves, what are you talking about? Giving away Magic cards?
I mean, we are a few months early for Christmas, so...
Yeah, every Friday night is Christmas at the Lost Legion FNM stream. So far, 2 Lucky Souls have benefited from our generosity, and tonight, 1 more will do the same. As it says in there, every week we give away a playset of rock, paper, scissors cards, just like we use to start all of our games here. So if you want your own playsets, all you have to do is follow me on Twitter, and then retweet any of my messages throughout the week talking about the stream, and you will be entered to win. This week, Michael, you've not seen this list previously, right?
I have not seen that list.
All right, we are 1 through 8. A number between 1 through 8.
Number between 1 through 8.
There's a lot on the line here. There's over $1.50 worth of cards and 60 cents of postage on the line.
Well,
this is life-changing money.
The traditional thing to do is pick a number that is between 1 through 8. People usually don't pick 1 or 8.
It's a tell. It sounds like you're going with 1 or 8.
I'm going to go with 8.
8. Our very own Jordan Peccio.
Oh.
So,
very nice.
Like I said, this week, unfortunately, I only had...
we didn't get our Greek guy back, did we?
No, he was 1. You almost picked him.
Oh.
He was number 1.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
So for our one faithful tweeter in Greece, Petros is his name. You keep trying, I swear. Eventually, just by the statistical averages, you're going to have to eventually send it to him. We had 8 runners this week. Jordan Peccio is our winner. He's a player here at the shop. He followed me on Twitter. He retweeted. He's eligible. Everybody's eligible except former winners and myself. So, if you want to win some of those goodies, just like Jordan, then simply do what I said. Just follow me on Twitter. And actually, it's very important for those of you who are watching this. It's very important if you watch the live stream on Twitch. Don't just watch the stream. If you can register or just sign up for Twitch, it doesn't take. They don't send you any bulk mail, or there's no fees or costs or anything. But if you do sign up for an account, that will let you follow us. If you follow the @ZachZell's Magic account on Twitch, it will send you an email notification anytime the stream goes live. So, smartphones these days, you can have instant gratification anytime we decide to stream. If we do we always do the Friday night broadcast, but if we do some kind of midweek casual commander or cube or draft or something like that, then that's the best way. Also, check us out on YouTube. Subscribe to us there. You also get notifications anytime we upload new videos. And then obviously follow us on Twitter for up-to-the-minute information about whatever's going through my head related to Magic the Gathering. Excuse me, on a daily basis. I run hot and cold on Twitter. There are some days that I forget that it exists, and then there are some days where I literally just sit at home with the TV on and the laptop in front of me, just constantly thinking of what can I put on this Twitter, which is probably not a good strategy because clearly that can't be good content if you're just forcing it like that. While they're doing that, I can dig out Jordan's winning cards. He did say he was coming in here for this round, did he not?
He did. You want me to go round him up?
No, that's no big deal. He'll get in here. He'll be in here, and he will be so excited.
If he was watching the stream, he would already be in here because he would know that he won his cards.
Maybe I should deny him his winnings because of his lack of watching the stream currently. Although I will give him a pass if you are physically in the building during FNM, you don't have to watch the stream. I'll allow it. I won't be happy about it.
I feel so bad for not picking the Greek guy. I was really rooting for him.
I was too, and then it looked like it was going to happen. But you zigged when you should have zagged. So I'm not sure if Petros actually watches the stream.
Or if he just retweets.
He retweets a lot. So, but if he is watching, we apologize for that. But if you go back to @JustinDZ's Twitter, you will see proof. He posted a picture of his winnings when he received them, and I'm sure when Usman receives his, I can get him to do the same thing. So they're fun, it's free, and when I run out of them, I guess I'll have to start giving away stuff that's valuable. I can guarantee you this: the more interest we get, the more YouTube views and Twitch followers and subscribers and stuff I get, the higher that goes up, the higher quality the giveaway gets.
Exactly. We got to scale
If
up.
we get up to I'm just going to say, if we get 10,000 viewers, I might give away a Badlands.
You never know.
I probably won't, but it's funny to lie about. So, he's playing Ranger's Guile in a natural predation, so that should be... Yep, that is a kill. Is it not?
It looks like it is.
No, it's just 9.
Oh, 1 point short.
Just 9. I don't know if he's I don't know if he's playing Tezzeret's Gambit or not. I would love to see him win this game with Tezzeret's Gambit. But there you see the power of the Avacyn Restore card, Wild Defiance. Wild Defiance is, I think, in its intention, was designed to beat red cards, but it had the secondary effect of being able to beat. Well, that's it. That's the power of Brett's deck. You see two pump spells in 2 turns, and that was the end of that. But yeah, I mean, what's your opinion, Mike? I think pretty clearly that card was basically just designed to
anti-burn.
Yeah, it's designed to beat burn, but like I said, it does have that kind of side effect of making Infect so good. I mean, every Infect, the Infect mechanic as it is kind of broken when you think of all the the cards that you're playing. They're designed. I mean, Giant Growth was designed to be like a second tier, it's like a bad counter spell. It's like a decent pump spell, but even decent pump spells aren't that good.
Yeah.
But it turns into like a double lightning bolt when you put it on an Infect creature.
Actually, Wild Defiance, maybe rather than like an anti-burn spell, it was like a pro-pumped spell. Like a pump spell enabler, maybe, I guess you would call it.
I just think it's interesting because it was like tier 1. There are some instances where that deck, I mean, it did really good at the World Magic Cup. It did really good at a couple Star City events. There was a guy playing it in Legacy. Well, no, he wasn't playing Legacy. He was just playing Infect in Legacy. Well, he's playing Infect in general, but I'm not sure Wild Defiance is a card that, while it's like tier 1 now,
I don't think it's going to stick around.
It will
after
never
Infect
be
is
played
gone.
after this. So, it's very interesting. Unless someone is making like a Golgari EDH deck designed around Infect, I'm not sure that card will see much play after that, but for right now. As you can see also, Cliff Marcum's custom playmat that he he just told me he had that printed up recently, where he has, I think, every internet meme on it.
Yep.
I see the pedo bear, and I see that troll guy, whatever he is. I think his sound fingers.
I think there's one or two on there that I don't recognize, and I'm well versed in internet.
hmm I actually thought at one point when because I'm going to admit I'm kind of a dork. Sometimes during the week I sit around and think about things to come up with. I don't know if you saw, but I did take the time to generate 10 separate images to go over the standard decks. For those of you who don't know what we're talking about, just wait. We'll show you here soon enough. But I was thinking that might be a fun thing. Is slightly off topic, but so many people were unfamiliar with the Bonfire for the Win meme from the World Magic Cup.
Uh-huh.
That just means, maybe that's something we should task ourselves with sharing these popular internet memes. Maybe like a meme of the week type thing.
Yeah.
Probably won't, because it's a lot of work. So as we see, Perilous Mirror from Cliff. It's interesting because, okay, so Live Wire Lash is a very interesting card. I think he's only playing one, maybe two of them.
It's kind of like Wild Defiance numbers 5 and 6.
Yeah, but the thing about it is it's actually better than Wild Defiance in this situation because he doesn't have to attack anymore.
It lets him get past.
Yeah, for those of you who are not familiar with what Live Wire Lash does, basically when you equip it to a creature, it says whenever the creature is targeted by a spell, it does 2 damage to target player. Of course, if that creature has Infect, since it's doing the damage.
Lets him get around those Perilous Mirrors without having to worry about trading 2 for 1.
Mm-hmm. And he can do that all at instant speed too, so he can pump in response to activations, or in response to removal spells, I should say.
So what is that? Is that Wild Defiance and Live Wire Lash on the board?
Yes, it is. Four means solemn, right? And see, it's interesting now, this Perilous Mirror, like, he plays the Perilous Mirror because, number one, it's a lot better card than I think. I play Perilous Mirror in my cube. Mm-hmm. I think it's a perfectly good card. He plays them because he has the Haven Ghoul Lich combo in his deck. And for those of you who are just joining us, the life totals are being kept on my iPod at the bottom of the screen because it's difficult to keep track of life and Infect with our current setup. Okay, so Brett is threatening to win here. So he has 2 mana open, so he's representing 4. And I guess if he has 3 mutagenic growths in his hand, he just wins. He may just be doing that because you have to equip it at some point, so he may not necessarily be setting up for the win. He may just be setting up for... Oh, so that is very good. Is he going to win here?
He just... Oh, what? 2 Ranger's Guiles, okay.
Yeah, so the 2 direct.
He removed Cliff's only blocker, and Cliff is tapped out.
Mm-hmm. So it's a 1...
11? Oh, wow. Out of nowhere.
It's funny that he's going to watch this and think I'm chastising him, but trying to be polite, Brett just counted up the damage and then immediately shot his hand up. Right? It's like, there's nothing you can do about this. I'm just going to show you how I beat you, and then I'm going to make you shake my hand. But that's just the power of it. It was actually an interesting point I was thinking about. I didn't mention it, but when he was attacking with both Mirror, I thought at this point, you might want to leave them back because every blocker is pertinent. But then I realized, he doesn't have anything with haste. Once Brett puts a guy on the board, he's representing lethal that entire time. So pretty impressive win by Brett Rose. He's 3-0. He will be drawing into the top 8. Cliff will have to do a win and in, but with only 18 people here and losing to Brett, he might sneak in at 2-1-1.
Yeah.
But that is the power of Infect, and in a good 7 days, it's not going to be legal. This is probably the last standard tournament all of these gentlemen will play. So don't say we never showed you anything. We gave you some pretty impressive wins. Very interesting stuff. Glad to see that he's finally back on Infect. So let's try to rehash. Okay. Is the, nope, I'm going to have to fix it. Alright, so I apologize for everything that's on the screen because we tried to finish this 2 other points tonight, and both times, as soon as I started to do it, JB came in and gave me pairings for the next round. So, um, just give me a brief second here. We've been having problems with the audio all night, and it constantly looks like we're in some kind of bad karate movie. So, give me half a second here. This seems to have worked every time. What about now? Okay, so we're good.
We're good.
We're back. He's Michael Taylor. I'm Zachary Evans. We're going to talk to you about nonsense that you probably don't care about, but I spent a lot of time making these little screens. So, for the first 2 rounds, this is round 3. For the first 2 rounds we've been going over, it's for the last 12 months. I've told you this thing 3 times now, so you're going to pretend like you're interested. For the last 12 months we've been playing a standard format. That standard... I was not prepared for that. We've been playing a standard format that is rotating as of tonight with Return to Ravnica pre-release tomorrow, which I hope everybody's participating in, and then release next week. We're going to see the first Star City Invitational, the first Star City tournaments, the West State tournaments. It's a whole new format. So we've been reviewing for the last 2 rounds, trying to review the 10 pillars of Standard, like a brief walkthrough of the format. We started off with Red Deck Wins because Red Deck Wins dominates every metagame immediately upon rotation. When in doubt, be proactive. Tempered Steel was the only direct ported deck from Scars of Mirrored and Block decks, as well from the old Standard. Then we saw 2 new decks. We saw Solar Flare with Liliana and Unburial Rights, and we also saw Green-White Gavany Township Tokens decks, with Tokens actually winning West Virginia States last year. And then finally, the Scourge that was Wolfrun. We thought for a while that we were clear of the Primeval Titan Menace, but unfortunately, Wolfrun, somebody figured out Wolfrun and Inkmoth Nexus kind of work well together, so we dealt with it again. So now, we're on to Virgin Territory. We've tried twice now to get through these, so let's talk about number 6, Champion of the Parish, representing humans decks. Mono white humans, blue-white humans so they could play Moorland Haunt and Mana Leaks out of the sideboard, but that was your de facto beatdown deck of the format. It was not something that was necessarily incredibly successful. I don't think it really dominated at any point, but it was always
There were a couple of points when it made up a significant chunk of the format,
yes,
but
it was something you had to be prepared
underperformed for the amount of the format that it was taking up.
It was still a beatdown deck that didn't have much reach. It had some draws that could be beat. Turn 1, Champion. Turn 2, Gatherer. Turn 3, Mirror Crusader. Turn 4, Hero Bladehold. Actually, the best humans actually ended up getting ported over into some of the Delver decks with Hero Bladehold showing up. But there is a point where there is a white weenie deck in every format, and humans was the representative for several months. Back at the beginning of the year. It was when the humans deck were doing pretty good. That's when the blue-black deck started to show up. So humans was a pillar for a while, and as a result, we saw Sam Swisher playing the blue-black control deck in the second round. But Nephalia Drownyard was basically the Drownyard decks kind of took hold there at the beginning of the year around Grand Prix Baltimore, like we talked before. Basically, just blue-black control, counter everything, murder everything, drown you out. We saw some of the most boring magic that we could possibly see when you saw Drownyard mirror matches where people are just milling and no creatures are ever cast because they just immediately get removed. It was just a lot of drawing land and counterspell battles, but it was a big part of the format at that point. There was a lot of decks that that was the control deck of choice. Blue-white being so dominant years prior with Callblade. The control deck of choice at that point was blue-black with Drownyards and Grave Titans and whatnot. So that was a relatively small period of time before this guy just started to dominate every tournament, not just in terms of performance, but in terms of quantity. It was very interesting when, there was a period of time, not the last bannings, but the bannings prior, whether or not any of the Delver cards were going to get banned at Standard. Was it Delver itself? Was it Mana Leak? Was it Ponder? Was it Snapcaster Mage? And it was very interesting because they came out and said that actually there wasn't significant. They had done the numbers on Magic Online, and there really wasn't a significant number of an overwhelming number of people playing Delver, and even the ones that it was clearly the most played deck, but the results it was having were not incredibly hard. And I think that's something that we kind of miss in. There's a sneaky little talk like this because they're running on the screen. I thought this would be a good idea, but then in practice it maybe not be as good. But
and there's actually kind of a stepping stone to this deck. For a few weeks, Illusions was really popular.
Yeah, I tried to mention that. I'm glad you brought it up. I did have Phantasmal Image on here originally, or Lord of the Unreal, because there was a mono blue Illusions deck that was, I mean, they were playing the stupid Phantasmal Dragon. I mean, that was a real deck. I think Todd Anderson took that to the finals of an SCG tournament. That was a real deck. Just shows you the power. It's a cruel world when the best beatdown creatures are blue. As two guys that like to play red cards, it's very disappointing. But it's not that Delver has necessarily dominated so much as I think it's just one of the best decks. It rewards good play, and I think a lot of the best players end up playing it. So we end up seeing it at the top tables because of that. So it's definitely not a deck like Cobblade where the cards are just so good that no other deck can compete, and it's very forgiving, so that mediocre players can end up doing very well because Jace and Gideon and all those cards are so raw powerful. But Delver is
and you can
clearly,
get that turn one blind flip Delver.
It's the worst thing in the world. It's un-American. We've seen it in our coverage in past weeks.
I mean, decks that can just randomly do that and give you a free win here and there.
Well, a deck that can have a three power evasive flyer, and I got distracted by that chat. I'm sorry, but it did have mana leak backup. Like it's just wrong. Like the best aggressive creature shouldn't be in the control deck, but that's the way it was. But interesting, where's Delver going to go from here? I mean, you lose Ponder. That's the biggest thing. You lose Hero for those decks, but you still get Restoration Angel. Do you shift to red? Is the Delver deck going to be a blue-red now? Time only will wait to see, but Delver is not rotating, and it will still be a force in some fashion, I imagine. I've only got two more. I put this one at the end because it's seeing a lot. It saw a lot. Most of it's now that I'm completely covered up, I don't have to worry about looking at the camera. But Birthing Pod saw play in the entire. It was the third set, so basically the entire 16, 17 months that it was in play. It's a very fun card. It allows for a lot of different builds. It allows for a lot of decisions. I mean, every pod deck is a Rubik's Cube, but you've got to figure out your chains and figure out what the best play is. But it hadn't been played a whole lot, and then in the last few months we saw
it's
these...
sort of a tier like 1.5, tier 2, like a fringe deck.
Well, there was a Rug deck that was really good right around the time that Zendikar rotated out, and you lost things like Seagate Oracle, for example, that there were those cards that you used to chain up. But it was only in the last few months where you start seeing these red-green aggro decks, or these Naya aggro decks splash Birthing Pod just for like incidental value. But Birthing Pod has had a huge effect on the format. It's like the same kind of thing like Humans. It may have not been the most successful deck, but if you showed up not prepared to beat a Birthing Pod chain, you're probably making a big strategic mistake, same way as if you couldn't beat a turn 1 champion into turn 2 gather.
Huntmaster of the Fells and Undying Creatures gave it a big boost too.
Absolutely. Being able to pot away your 3-drop, or pot away your String Root Geist on 2, get Deceiver Exarch, untap your pod, get some, Metamorph on 4. I mean, you see that. How important is this card in Modern? I mean, one of the best Modern decks, arguably, is the Kiki Jiki Restoration Angel deck we've talked about before, made entirely possible by a card like Birthing Pod, which gives you redundant effects with Court of Calling so that you can just tutor up whatever card you want. And like I was talking about with that weird chain with images and with the Deceiver Exarch, you can go from a 2 to an instant kill. I mean, it's just raw power. So Birthing Pod, again, rotating out. It's a good EDH card. It's a good Modern card. It'll be played, but not nearly as much as now. And then finally, a card that has been prevalent ever since it was printed in Dark Ascension last January. But I put it last because this one will probably have the most impact as we go forward, because if there's any one deck that people are talking about going into an unknown standard format for States post-Return to Ravnica, if I'm correct, it's the deck that you're currently targeting as possibly playing, which is a Golgari or Jund-based zombie list.
Which I really think this zombie aggro is going to be kind of like the red deck this time around.
It is. It's better than the red deck, as we were talking before. As a consistent red player, I've tried to put together red deck wins list, and it's mostly creatures. And what it cannot deal with is a card like Lotleth Troll that regenerates. It can't deal with undying creatures that keep coming back. So this is going to be your red deck. It's aggressive. With sack outlets, a card like Falcon Wrath Aristocrat or something like that, you're going to have access to burn them out with Blood Artists, things like that. We talked about Lotless Troll. Makes your Gravecrawlers really good. It's just a big guy. It regenerates. It has Trample. I think a lot of people forget it has Trample.
Yeah, it's got so many words on it. You can't remember all of them.
But Messengers are still around. Gravecrawlers are still around. You just got tons of card advantage. So.
And Messenger is really one of the best creatures in print right now. He just... the only deck you can really play him in is 90% black zombies.
Yeah, and how good now is the format where you've got access to Overgrown Tombs now.
Yeah.
So every card in your deck can be a swamp. If you really wanted it to.
He's going to be so much easier to play, and even in the next set, we're going to get 2 more black duels. So
yeah, I mean you're going to get you're going to see this guy a lot. I think he's going to be very popular, and then much like everything, I think there's basically it states this year is going to be Gravecrawler decks and decks designed to beat Gravecrawler decks.
Yep.
And then in between there's probably going to be some of these green-white mid-range decks with just every good card in the format jammed into one deck. So for those of you who have been watching since round 1 and it took us 3 rounds to get through that, thank you for your patience. It looks like we've picked up the audio lag again, so I apologize for that. But maybe it's because I got this ticker on. I'm obsessed with that ticker, but it may just not be good for everything. What else do I want to talk about? Was there anything else that was going on? Oh, I did want to mention this. We talked about it before. We talked about it just now, but West Virginia State's the state championship is going to be held at the Beckley Convention Center in Beckley, West Virginia. I figure most of you that are watching this are West Virginia locals, so this will be most pertinent to you. It's Saturday, October 13th. I don't know what time it starts, but I'm assuming it's going to be probably at 9 registration, 10 player meeting. You can visit sleeveup.com for more information, not just on our state championship, but at Sleeve Up there is information for all of the respective state and provincial tournaments in Canada. So it's always usually pretty fun formats. You can basically play whatever you want because nobody knows what the best deck is. The only event that will have been played at that point is the Star City Open, which I think is in Cincinnati. Are you familiar? I'm pretty sure it's in Cincinnati. So if you want to check that out, visit the website, make sure you come out. It should be a good time. We'll be there. As we've talked in the past, I'm going to try my darndest to stream states. This is giving me a little pause here, the inability to get things to work properly. But we do have initial approval to stream states, and does that help out at all? I don't know. I think it's too late. I think it locks in, and then once it's done, it's done. But we're going to try desperately to stream states. Should be a good time. Should help out. Promote the podcast. Is that a podcast? I guess we could make it a podcast. But,
yeah.
But anyway, Anyway, I'm fiddling around here with Jordan Pecchio's copy of Rock, Paper, Scissors, which he won earlier. If you'd like to win your own copy, just make sure you follow me on Twitter as I desperately search for that splash screen, which I don't have on here. So let's switch over to this one. This is basically Emmy and Oscar level direction and production here. But anyway, you saw the cards in my hand. They're real. I'm going to hand them out. If you want your own giveaway, we're giving away play sets of these. So just follow me on Twitter. Retweet anything I send throughout the week about the broadcast, and you'll be entered in the random drawing to win. And eventually, if we run out of those, I'll start giving away something else, like some Zendikar lands or an unhinged land or some random thing. So we're trying to make it happen for you. Also, like I said to anyone who was listening, if you're on the Twitch stream, make sure you sign up for an account there and follow us. It helps us out with our numbers, and also you'll get the email notification anytime we sign on. We also have a Facebook page, Zach Sells Magic on Facebook, so check that out. Follow us on Twitter. You can send me an email, zachsellsmagic@gmail.com. What's the one thing I'm forgetting? There's one more. YouTube. Go to YouTube. YouTube/user/Zach Sells Magic, or just go to YouTube and search for us, and you will find us. Here are those addresses. We appreciate your support. There are 5 people watching us now. That's 5 more people than I ever thought would watch this. So I appreciate your support, but keep spreading the word. Like I said, we just started up the Facebook page. Have a pretty active Twitter account. So help us spread the word, and then good things will happen to you and your family, right?
Mm-hmm. All your wildest dreams will come true.
Yes. Literally, whatever the greatest thing you can think of will happen to you if you follow us on Twitter and retweet this to all your friends. I think I've tapped out basically everyone I can contact on Twitter directly. So I need further help from and assistance from everyone. We're going to take a quick break. I think they're within about 5 minutes of starting the next round, so we're going to stop off here, and we will be back shortly.